Oh, hello, great readers. I'm Belchan.
I'm Nimakong.
I'm Banchan.
In this class, I'll read to all of you a part of The Yellow Wallpaper.
As.
The Yellow Wallpaper. Sherlock Perkins Gilman. Section 1. For the summer. A colonial mansion. A hereditary estate. I would say haunted house. And reach the height of romantic felicity, but that would be asking too much of fate. Still, I will proudly declare that there is something queer about it. Us. Why should it be that so cheaply? And why have stood so long untenanted? John laughs at me. Of course. One expects that in marriage. John is practical in the extreme. He has no patience with faith, an intentor of superstition, and put down in figures. John is a physician, and perhaps he would not say it to a living soul. Of course. Reason I do not get well faster. You see, he does not believe I am sick. And what can one do? If a physician of high standing, and one's own husband. Nervous depression is like hysterical tendencies. What is one to do? My brother is also a physician, and also of high standing, and he says the same thing. So I take phosphates or phosphates, whichever it is, and tonics, and journeys, and air, and exercise, and I'm absolutely forbidden to work until I am well again. Personally, I disagree with their ideas. Personally, I believe that congenial work, with excitement and change, would do me good. But what is one to do? I did write for a while in spite of them, but it does exhaust me a good deal having to be so sly about it, or else meet with heavy opposition. My condition, and I confess it always makes me feel bad. So I will let it alone and talk about the house. The most beautiful place. It is quite alone, standing well back from the road, quite 3 miles from the village. It makes me think of English places that you read about, for there are hedges and walls and gates that lock, and lots of separate little houses for the gardeners and people. There is a delicious garden. I never saw such a garden, large and shady, full of brooks bordered paths, and lined with lone grape-covered arbours with seats under them. There were greenhouses, too, but they are all broken now. There was some legal trouble, I believe. Something about the heirs and co-heirs. Anyhow, the place has been empty for years. That spoils my gosliness. I am afraid. But I don't care, there is something strange about the house, he can feel it. I even said to John one moonlight evening, but he said what I felt was a draught, and shut the window. I get unreasonably angry with John sometimes. I'm sure I never used to be so sensitive. I think it is due to this nervous condition. But John says if I feel so, I shall neglect proper self-control. So I take pains to control myself before him. At least, and that makes me very tired. I don't like our room a bit. Window, and such pretty old-fashioned chintz hangings. but John would not hear of it. He said there was only one window and not room for 2 beds, and not any room for him if he took another. He is very careful and living, and hardly lets me stir without special direction. I have a scheduled prescription for each hour in the day. He takes all care for me, and so I feel basically ungrateful not to value it more. He said we came here solely on my account, that I was to have perfect rest and all the air I could get. Your exercise depends on your strength, my dear, said he, and you're fit somewhat on your appetite, but you're eating up so all the time. So we took the nursery at the top of the house. It is a big airy room, the whole floor nearly, with windows that look always, and air and sunshine galore. It was nursery first and playground and gymnasium, I should judge, for the windows are barred for little children, and there are rings and things in the walls. The paint and paper look as if a boy's school had used it. It is stripped off paper in great patches all around the head of my bed, about as far as I can reach, and in a great place on the other side of the room low down. I never saw worse paper in my life. One of those sprawling flamboyant patterns committing every artistic sin. It is enough to confuse the eye in following, pronounced enough to constantly irritate, and provoke study. And when you follow the lame, on certain coves for a little distance they suddenly commit suicide, you plunge of it outrageous angles, destroy themselves in unheard of contradictions. The colour is repellent, almost revolting, a smouldering, unclean yellow, strangely faded by the slow turning sunlight. It is a dull yet lurid orange in some places, a sickly sulphur tint in others. No wonder the children hated it. I should hate it myself if I had to live in this room on. There comes John, and I must put this away, hates to have me write a word. We have been here 2 weeks, and I haven't felt like writing before. Since that first day, I am sitting by the window now, up in this atrocious nursery, and there is nothing to hinder my writing as much as I please, save lack of strength. John is away all day, and even some nights when his cases are serious. I'm glad my case is not serious, but these nervous troubles are dreadfully depressing. John does not know how much I really suffer. He knows there is no reason to suffer, and that satisfies him. Of course it is only nervousness. It is weigh on me so not to do my duty in any way. I meant to be such a help to John, such a real rest and comfort, and here I am a comparative burden already. Dress and entertain, and order things. It is fortunate Mary is so good with the baby, such a dear baby, and yet I cannot be with him. It makes me so nervous. I suppose John was nervous in his life. He laughs at me so about this wallpaper. At first he meant to repair the room, but afterwards he said that I was letting it get the better of me. Fancies. He said that after the wallpaper was changed it would be the heavy bedstead, and then the barred windows, and then that gate at the head of the stairs, and so on. You know, the place is doing you good, he said. And really, Theo. Then let us go downstairs, I said. Then he took me in his arms and called me a blessed little goose. He said he would go down so if I wished, and have it whitewashed into the bargain. But he is right about the beds and windows and things. It is as airy and comfortable a room as anyone need wish. And then, of course, I would not be so silly as to make him uncomfortable just for a whim. I'm really getting quite fond of the big room. All but that horrid paper. Out of one window I can see the garden. Those mysterious deep-shaded arbours. The riotous old-fashioned flowers. Ambitious and gnarly trees. Worth belonging to the estate. There is a beautiful shaded lane that runs down there from the house. I always fancy I see people walking in these numerous paths and arbours. But John has cautioned me not to give way to fancy in the least. Mine is sure to lead to all manner of exciting fancies, and that I ought to use my will and good sense to check the tendency. So I try. Would relieve the press of ideas and rest me. But I find I get pretty tired when I try. It is so discouraging not to have any advice and companionship about my work. For a long visit, we have those stimulating people about now. I wish I could get well faster. To be continued.